Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish. Get it right. And joining me, as always, is my fantastic panel of nerds. But before I get to them, real quick, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff in today's episode. We're going to be talking about the Megaopolis disaster, apparently. We're going to be talking about Dune Prophesy, which is the TV show spinoff of the movie Dune. We're also going to be talking about House of the Dragon. The big thing is Rings of Power Season 2 dropped their first trailer. We're going to be ripping that apart. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about the Friday the 13th Jason cinematic universe and a bunch of other news about sequels and all types of stuff. But now it is my pleasure to introduce our fantastic panel nerds, starting with Matt Vader 74. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I just got challenged in the chat, but hey, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. That son of a bitch.
A challenge.
But
we'll get to that soon.
Hi guys. What's going on?
Hey man,
happy to be here. Brian, it has been forever since I've seen you.
I've missed you.
Yeah,
I've gotten less gay in the last 2 weeks since you haven't been here.
See?
So it's crazy.
This is why I'm a necessary evil. You need me.
Yes.
My 10% is down to 5 right now. I might as well be completely
Gotta bump those numbers up, bro.
Bump those numbers back up a little bit. Yeah.
Gotta raise your gay percentage.
Yeah.
Up there, yeah. Speaking of which, he is back fresh from Mexican Mother's Day. Brian from the Popcast has triumphantly returned to Salty Saturday Mornings. Brian, so good to have you back. How was your national holiday, Mexican Mother's Day?
It was horrible. It was I'm sure my wife had a great time, but as the husband to what I call the storm and father of 2 kids, when Mexican Mother's Day falls on a Friday and American Mother's Day is on a Sunday, your wife is like, cool, I get the whole effing weekend. And I just worked the entire weekend. It was
I got a text from Brian Mexican Mother's Day morning, and it basically said, apparently Mexican Mother's Day is a thing. Can you believe this nonsense? And I hate my life. And then we didn't see him for 2 weeks. So
bro. Didn't even know it existed. So somehow
what is this made up holiday bullshit?
Mexicans love their mothers and they love holidays, so we can't blame them for wanting to celebrate both. Speaking of celebration, we got Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge coming to us with the talking nipple. How you doing, Tom?
Not my picture.
He's there.
Yeah. There you are. Now we can see you.
I'm not going on screen, y'all.
And joining us for the first time from the Project Eggroll Podcast, we have Mr. Philip Chan joining us today. How you doing, Phil?
Yo, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we got to meet you at the Nerdrotic meetup out here in Las Vegas. It was a really good time had by all. But everyone was saying like, oh man, you got to check out these Project Eggroll guys. These guys are up and comers. You got to have them on your show. And so we were like, okay, let's get them on the live stream. So welcome to Salty Saturday Mornings. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah. So my name is Phil. I'm part of Project Eggroll, and we typically go live on Saturdays around like 7 p.m. Pacific, and we basically talk about anything from pop culture to video games. We do dabble more into anime than most, and because Gray, he's a big JRPG guy, so we talk a lot about anime, and we do talk a lot about degeneracy there because of me being a gooner. I usually talk a bunch about that kind of stuff, but we try not to dabble too much into politics. But yeah,
what's a gooner? What is that?
All right, so it's sort of like a person that's like, it's like a simp, but even more so, and like it's sort of like you are a simp and a white knight at the same time for like for instance, like let's say there's a big anime girl that everyone's loving, right? And then like everyone's like, oh, I would die for her. It's like that kind of it's like over obsession with like a
dude. I thought a gooner was someone who just sat in his goon cave and masturbated all day.
Now here's the thing though. So basically it's an evolution of a coomer, which that is basically what it is. So it's basically ferociously masturbates in their cave and it's come out. But yeah, a gooner is like that, but for a specific person. So like, there are these people who are like super like, I don't know,
So
K-pop stands or something.
I immediately got an image of Randy from South Park sitting in front of his computer.
Yep.
With jizz stains all over
Yeah.
the wall.
that's what. So you're just a further degenerate version of doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
us old white guys are learning all the hip new lingo from the kiddos.
I'm also very inspired to make a Salty Nerd Pornhub logo. I really
I know. Yeah. I am. As am I.
Yeah, the Project Eggroll
Podcast brothers.
Yes.
There you go. Simple yet effective. Very subliminal brand advertising. But if you guys want to check out Philip's YouTube channel, link is in the description, and we also pinned the link in the chat if you guys want to check that out. But guys, before we get to the super chats and our donators and all the stuff that we're going to be doing for this episode, I was very excited because it feels like for half this month, Brian has been missing, and there have been conspiracy theories floating around among the chat that you know, like, because he was inconsistent with his own live streams and he wasn't showing up on here, that something had happened to him, maybe. And something did happen to Brian.
Oh, I just figured he was lazy.
And we want to celebrate you know, that moment. And I put together a little video that I'm going to share with you. I want to throw this to Tom because Tom, we actually have kind of like a tie-in with this game in the sense that it seems that Target is kind of following Best Buy's lead. It's pulling back on physical media. No. And one of the issues on this is that the whole physical media thing, like with video games, a lot of video games don't even have, like, you buy the box essentially, and it has like a little code inside that you can go and like redeem online. So like you're basically buying a box at that point. And with the whole controversy around the fact that if you buy physical media of this game, you actually have to be online in order for it to actually work. You know, it's like, why not just buy like the download license? So what's your take on this whole like dying of physical media and the fact that you need to be online to actually use it?
Well, I wouldn't draw.
So I wanted to hear your take on this. Do you think that people are excited at all to be playing this game in particular?
No, I do not think so. And if my screen looks smoky, it's because I set up a smoke machine for my stream on Thursday, and I accidentally hit my stream deck and it went off. I unplugged it. So I apologize for that.
Sure.
I'm not joking. For a minute there, I thought my computer had caught on fire.
You're hotboxing, Brian. Just admit it.
Because he says it's 420 and he's not sharing.
No, I can show you. I'm not joking.
And he's trying to blame some Steam machine.
I'm not joking. I set up
we all know what it really is.
It was already set up. It did not work on Thursday, and then it came to life right now.
Public nonsense. And so I think to myself, like, man, this is a great opportunity. Like they obviously could have really taken advantage of this, but because now that they are licensing it out to so many different places, that means that you're gonna have a flooded market of several probably half-baked video games that are asking for way too much money. In this specific case, like everything you were telling me about this story just drives me crazy, because how much time you spend in game, how much time they spent to develop that game, right? And that's the thing, is that there's the games that are worth that money are the ones that they
so that you can't really resell them. Wasn't that a big part?
Guys, I have to.
Oh my God!
I don't know what's going on.
I thought you unplugged it.
I just turned it off.
Brian had to smoke a bowl because he got high.
It's unplugged, bro. It just keeps going. It's like it heated up.
I
can't. It's built into my deck.
Open a window.
I unplugged. I'm just waiting. My windows are welded shut, bro.
Tear it back up.
I told you. I unplugged it. The heating element is still hot, so it's just spitting out all kinds of
was
smoke.
talking, and there was just more and more smoke.
Oh,
trying to
God. Yeah, I don't know what to do, man.
You're just rubbing it in.
Oh, jeez. I'm not doing this on purpose. This is.
Oh my God, Brian.
Just ruined.
It's not even good smoke.
Bro, it's a cheap smoke machine. I think the heating element got superheated and it's just now just pouring into my room. Yeah!
Wow.
So welcome back, Brian, from the Smoke Show, the original Smoke Show himself.
That all happened on 420.
Makes it even better. Makes it even better.
Oh my God. Going back and
amazing.
look at that, it's really funny how I like slowly started was like, what the fuck? It's like it's getting worse and worse. I turned my camera off. I'm like, I don't know what to...
Couldn't even see you at the end there. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
That was
Oh, I
just a
needed
wall of smoke. Wall of smoke.
Oh, hear it up. Man.
So, welcome back, Brian. We're going to be playing that as a trailer in upcoming episodes, I'm sure.
That is
All right. Want to give a big shout out to our top super chatters and donators and supporters, particularly Scotty Dub, who is still at the top spot with his $200 super chat. And he's also one of our top contributors. So, Scotty Dub, thank you so much for supporting the show. Really appreciate you. And William Forbes is in second place, this $120 super chat. And of course, Mexican Iron Man, who we're going to get to in a second, our most consistent donator. He comes on every Saturday and does like a members chat or a super chat of some type. Really appreciate that. And our big donators for gifted memberships, we got Jillian N, WG, Sam Schwager, Major Chai Chai, and Eric Winberg. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. I know everyone in the chat appreciates those gifted subs. And the goal for today is going to be 10 new memberships, gifted memberships or subscribers, and hopefully 20 super chats. Doesn't matter how much they are. It can be super stickers for 99 cents. It could be $300 super chats. We don't care, just as long as we get 20 of them.
Yeah, we don't care if it's 99 cents or $300. You almost said that with a straight face.
Anywhere in between there. Also want to let the chat know that at the end of the live stream, we're going to be redirecting everyone to Mephisto's movie review podcast. So he's going to go live right after the show ends. And so you guys can hop on over there. He's got a really great show. So we really encourage you guys to go check that out. And also we have our saltynerdclub.com movie commentaries that are available now. So you can go to saltynerdclub.com, take it to our Patreon page, and in the store tab there, you can actually buy the individual commentaries if you don't want to do like another membership and you think that our stuff is funny. Vader, we just did the Fifth Element, which is going to come out next month.
That was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, these movie commentaries are a lot of fun. The one for this month is you guys did Pacific Rim with Blaine from Criticless. So that's definitely
Pac Rim. Hashtag Pac Rim.
Hashtag Pacific Rim.
Pac Rim.
Also want to give a big shout out to Culture Casino, who rated us as soon as we went live. So appreciate all the culture warriors that came in here and are going to be giving us a watch. Welcome. Nice. And thank you to Culture Casino for doing that. We always appreciate that. All right. And before we get to our first story, let's go through some super chats here. The first is we have Mexican Iron Man, a member for 15 months with a member chat. After 15 months, I know one thing, and that is that the world's only hope is the leadership, vision, and nerd wisdom of the great Mr. Kadish. Yes.
Me and Mikey are going to have to have a talk about what he started with that nonsense. It's impossible.
He likes feeding it. He likes keeping it going.
He has horrible taste, though.
I know it's terrible taste. Terrible.
You guys, you're just jealous. All right, Mexican Iron Man for $5. For the record, Brian's house is on fire, and he stayed on camera the entire time. Meanwhile, I don't get to see my Tom on camera. LOL. Hashtag Popcast on Weed Fire.
No one wants to see this, Mikey.
In fact, I've only ever smoked weed once when I was like 20, and it was by accident because someone packed my cigarettes with weed, and I was blazed out of my mind for an entire night, and I thought the cops were going to get me. First and last time I ever smoked weed.
Well, Brian, I must say that when that was happening live, it was very hard for me not to try to showcase it. If Odin hadn't been on such a roll, I would have just popped you up on there. We've been like, what's going on?
No wonder why Odin's there. He's mad at me.
All right. And then we got Kalichi Okay. I hope I pronounced that right, for $20. Thanks for that laugh. Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice. That was awesome.
That was a fun little thing to put together. And then we got Mephisto movie reviews for $6. I think that's Israeli money. I don't really know what it's called.
I've never seen that symbol before. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting. Okay. Smash the like button and share the link. Appreciate that, Mephisto. And everyone, be sure to hang out for the end of the stream to check out Mephisto's show right afterwards.
Dude, if you showed me that symbol and said, "Is this a money symbol or something from Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, or something?" I would have always assumed it was some kind of fan.
It's Viking runes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And Eric K for 199. He just says egg roll.
Egg
Yes, we have
roll.
Project Eggroll on the stream today. Appreciate that. And E. Clay Tomlinson for 420. I love that.
Yeah,
He's like,
man.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 420 on the 5th month. Yeah, that works. And of course, we have WG, who just gifted 5 Salty Nerd podcast memberships. Wow. Thank you, WG. Another guy that we got to meet at the Nerdrotic meetup multiple times in the past 2 years. Great guy, big supporter of the show. He helps keep our fridge stocked, and he helps keep people getting access to the members-only content we have on the Salty Nerd YouTube channel. Go check out the members-only playlist if you got gifted a sub to basically check out what you all get. And wow, man, this is coming in great. We also got Major Chai Chai, another 5 Salty Nerd gifted memberships. We have hit our goal for today. Let's see if we can get the stretch goal of 15. If we can get 15.
So we're already at 10?
We're already at 10, man. WG and Major Chai Chai came in clutch. But Vader, we have one more super chat to get to.
Oh, man. I thought we were going to ignore this.
This is the one that's challenging you. Okay.
Price is going up.
Danny the Dork Knight for $75. If Vader doesn't want to acknowledge me, here's $75 for him to acknowledge I'm 75 days sober today. Now acknowledge me. So
I
Vader,
will acknowledge you, Danny, because I did say $75. So I will acknowledge you. I'm not calling you the tribal chief because that's weird. Okay. That's really weird. But congratulations on your 75 days. I do think that's really awesome. And I appreciate the donation. And congratulations, brother. Congratulations. And the price just went up to $100 for the next one. Okay. So just so you know.
Yeah. He's going to keep increasing the price, Danny. Just
Miss
so
you,
know.
Danny.
So, yeah.
That's
So
right.
stay sober. Stay sober. Eventually, you'll be able to hit those stretch goals that Vader puts out for you. And finally, we have Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $5. We need to start a fundraiser for Tom to get a Rings of Power wig. Yes, the wig of power. Indeed.
Yes. Oh my
Vader
God.
used to have one of those, but he lost it.
If Tom came on,
Jude lost it. She thinks I stole it, but I didn't. If I'd stolen it, it would be on a mannequin or something somewhere behind me. I would proudly display my Matt Vader 74.
Tom, send me your address. I will send you a Rings of Power wig for next week's stream. Okay, let's make this happen.
All right, guys. So,
who got the idea that I wear wigs? What?
So, guys, that is enough housekeeping for the day. Let's actually get into the show proper, and let's talk about the Francis Ford Coppola movie Megaopolis, which premiered at Caine. People like this is a movie. If you're like a film buff and a film nerd, you've been hearing about this movie for literally decades. God, Tom, I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to the topic, and you just have to go.
Tom, you're so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah.
He's
doing his you know that YouTuber or the Twitter troll that goes for everybody. She looks like that infamous chick, right?
Yeah, we just need a little more cleavage, bro. And this stream will hit millions of subs.
Get your titties out. Let's do it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
All right. I'm going to move on before we get demonetized. All right. So Francis Ford Coppola has been working on his next movie called Megaopolis for literally decades. He self-financed a portion of it. I think it was a very expensive movie, but he made like a bunch of money in wine and lawsuits and stuff like that. And now it's done and it's come out, and the reviews are, to say that they're mixed is being kind to this. A lot of people don't know what this movie's about. Like, in fact, there's this great like tweet here. So it says, this is from Luke Harfield, and he's reporting from Cannes. And he says, I am lost for words with Megaopolis. If Coppola is happy with it, then I guess that's something. I left it feeling totally discombobulated and bewildered by it. How does a $120 million movie look this cheap? I honestly don't know how I'm supposed to review this film because I'm not even sure I could tell you what the plot is. It feels like I need a week of digestion before I can attempt to discuss it. I'd say Audrey Plaza leaves it the most unscathed because of her already built-in brand of weirdness. I am also here for the platinum wow memes. Kudos to Adam Driver for throwing himself into it with reckless abandon. Let's just say the movie is ... something. I will attempt a review, but it's going to be a real challenge. # Cannes 2024, # Megaopolis. And then in a reply, PCP says might have something to do with this, and there's a screenshot from The Guardian.
Oh, Christ.
Details on Megaopolis. Francis Ford Coppola would allegedly pull women to sit on his lap and tried to kiss extras during one scene to get them in the mood. Rewritten around 300 times over the years. That sounds about accurate. Coppola would reportedly sit in his trailer for hours smoking weed while the cast and crew waited to film. Crew members said it was like watching a train wreck unfold day after day, week after week, and knowing that everybody there had tried their hardest to help the train wreck be avoided. Most of the VFX team was fired or quit halfway through filming. Reportedly ditched the volume filming for more traditional green screen. His dig at us was always, I don't want to make a Marvel movie, but at the end of the day, that's what he ended up shooting. So, guys, this was a kind of an interesting look behind the scenes of this movie, and the marketing for this movie is all over the place. Nobody really knows what the movie's about. The trailer dropped recently, and it is a very weird looking trailer. I'll pop this up.
I bet you it's the greatest movie ever made.
They're relying heavily on Adam Driver to sell this movie for some reason. I don't think he's that big of a star to be headlining this thing, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of star power behind the movie. But I want to throw this to you, Tom, since you seem to have a lot to say about it. What's your take on Megaopolis and all the mixed reviews that we're starting to see come out from Caine?
I bet you this movie's just fine. I bet you these are just a bunch of retards who can't handle an actual director. This just sounds like some of the most made up BS in my life. Have you seen Francis? He can barely walk. He's hardly alive. I highly doubt he was groping and doing any of that. Is the biggest bunch of horse shit I've ever heard in my life. They're trying to cancel this guy and he's on his last breath. Fuck Hollywood and the fucking horse they rode in on. If Francis Ford Coppola wants to spend his money on a movie and sit in a fucking trailer and smoke all day, good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll learn something about how real directors work. Maybe he's sitting in that fucking trailer because he's sick of dealing with all you goddamn bitchy kids who only know how to make Marvel movies now. Because you want to do it your way. Maybe you should sit back and listen to a fucking master. If the movie's crap, the movie's crap. But you know what? It's better than anything that's coming out from fucking Disney because it's all fucking IP and Star Wars and Marvel. And who gives a shit? It's an original movie, and thank God he got to make it. I just was hoping he would make it before he croaked. Yeah. I hope it's insanely good. And all these critics will call him out for exactly what they are. They're just trying to fucking pander to the media and cancel this guy. For what reason other than he's old and he's white?
Good point. Phil, you want to follow that up with your take on Megaopolis?
Okay, so I've rarely seen any like Francis stuff. Like I've seen like probably watched like Godfather like once, but that's a long time ago. But the thing is, I think the movie, and based off of what I've seen so far, I think it looks fine. Like it doesn't need to have like a high budget or anything like that. But yeah, if like what Tom said, like you're talking to a person who's like a master at his craft. Like let him do whatever he wants. And if it feels like it's cancel culture all over again. So I think this is it's extremely stupid that what they're trying to do, what they're trying to do. And yeah, I think if the movie does really, really well with audiences, like the critics and people who are trying to cancel him can't really say shit about it, is because the movie is good. So just sit down and just shut up and just watch the movie, and let the medium speak for itself. I think that's all we can do as of right now as audiences. But yeah, I think cancel culture is, he's an old guy, so like just let him do his stuff.
He is an old guy, and he actually gave a lot of filmmakers their start. I don't think a lot of people know how important Francis Ford Coppola is in the grand scheme of like the golden age of the 80s and stuff like that, because he worked a lot with Roger Corman, R.I.P. Roger Corman. And then like he translated that success because he made inroads into the actual studio system in Hollywood. And then he brought all of his film school friends that he had been kind of mentoring along with him and got them jobs like, we're talking George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, all these guys that basically defined cinema in the 80s. It's all because Francis Ford Coppola kind of like godfathered them, no pun intended, into the film business. But Brian, I want to throw this to you. So the trailer for this movie, like I watched the trailer and I'm like, I have no idea what this movie is about. It's supposedly a fable of some type, but it's like modern day Roman Empire type thing, but
Right.
at the same time, it's not. And so, like, when I read this breakdown of this guy who was at Cannes and actually saw the movie, and he's like, I can't tell you what this movie is about because I don't know myself. After having seen it, I kind of believe him. So, like, what do you think about this movie? Do you think it's going to be a success? Do you think it's just going to be like an art house cult favorite? Like what's your take on Megaopolis?
Hey, every big director needs like that one giant sci-fi movie that no one really understands, and this might be it. And I think Tom is right. If the guy wants to make his Magnus, his last awesome movie, and he's got a vision for it, and he wants to sit in his trailer and smoke weed and just stare up into space, dude, it's his money. Let him make it, I watched the trailer though, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
When I saw Adam Driver's face, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. This is an Adam Driver. This is exactly the kind of movie I expected Adam Driver to be in. Just sort of like, I'm not sure what's going on. A little weird, a little crazy. It looks big, it looks powerful, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know. You guys remember that movie Valerian?
Mm-hmm.
That movie was a mess, but like there was definitely there's a good movie somewhere in there, and I think it's on that same level where it's just like it got too big, got too ahead of itself, and there's a lot of movies like that, especially in the science fiction space, where it's like I think the director is just smoking. He's like, okay, so more cat chicks. Can we put more cat chicks in it? And you don't really know what's going on half the time, and maybe it's genius, maybe it's just crazy, but I think that Francis has definitely earned the right to make whatever he wants, and he's paying for it himself. So sounds good.
I guess he can do whatever he wants with his own money, right?
Yeah, do whatever you want. Do whatever.
But is it really all his own money? Did he not get any?
I don't think so. I think there were investors and stuff.
Well, you know what? He's made Hollywood enough money to
Sure.
be able to go ahead and make a bad, crazy movie for his last film.
You would think, okay, Francis, from some studios, like, we'll give you the money you want to make, because he's gonna sell tickets just on his name alone.
Right.
Like
Vader,
Steven Spielberg presents.
he made a lot of his money suing the studios. So
Okay, well, like I said, I'm not a film historian, dude. So I don't
Think
I
about
don't
this.
haven't let
Like,
Francis
for
do much
years
in
to
a while.
come, it's his last movie. For years to come, like when he's gone, this will still be selling or streaming or the license rights. It'll be making money for decades and decades.
So will
and
The
decades.
Godfather.
Yeah,
So will Apocalypse Now. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm here for it, bro. I'm gonna watch it, and good or bad, I'm gonna enjoy it because it's his last movie.
I think it's.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the text to come from Matt. It's going, hey guys, I really think we really need to go watch Megaopolis for the podcast this week, and I'm gonna go.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Tom was kind enough to put in our private chat a description of this movie. So it says, an accident destroys a decaying metropolis called New Rome. Caesar Catalina, an idealist architect with the power to control time, aims to rebuild it as a substantial utopia, while his opposition, the corrupt Mayor Franklin Cicero, remains committed to a regressive status quo. Torn between them is Franklin's socialite daughter, Julia, who, tired of the influence she inherited, searches for her life's meaning. So, Vader, does this sound like a movie you'd like to watch?
Dude, that sounds like it needs Batman in it. It sounds like a Batman movie. I'm
You didn't
in.
want to
Let's
make a comic book movie, though.
Yeah, I mean, it just needs Bruce Wayne, and he can go in
Right.
and fix the corrupt town of New York or whatever.
Megatropolis.
New
Megatropolis.
Rome.
Yeah,
It's Adam.
Yeah.
It's Adam Driver as the Batman.
the Batman. Yeah. Honestly, man, this movie, after reading a couple of reviews and seeing the trailers, and this looks like just an expensive art house project flick for Francis to sit up there and just do his thing. I have zero interest in watching this movie. I hate art house movies. I don't care how expensive they are. Not my thing. And after watching a lot of Adam Driver's stuff. He's not a ticket seller for me. I'm looking at this thing. 65 was terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah.
That was his foray into action. That
should have been great. There was this
movie that came out a couple years ago called White Noise, where he was like a professor or something, and they had this event where a train wrecked and make this toxic cloud over the city or whatever. Awful, terrible movie. It's just another one of these weirdly acted, weirdly presented movies. And I don't know what Adam's doing here. I mean, I guess if you have a chance to work with Francis Ford Coppola, what are you going to do? You're going to say no? I mean, the cast of this movie is really good. So, but he doesn't drive tickets for me. I think Francis Ford Coppola is the only reason anybody would be interested in seeing this movie. And I guess I'll go watch it, but I'm not going in with a good attitude about it. I'm just being straight up honest with you guys, which means I'll probably end up loving it at the end. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just being honest here. This movie looks awful. It does not look good. And if they're trying to cancel him because he's a single white, dope smoker in Hollywood, well, I don't think he gives a shit. I don't think it's going to matter to him. And
he's not single though. He's
whatever.
married.
Well, is it okay? I just say single hetero white guy. So good for Francis. Go smoke all the weed you need, brother.
Wasn't the movie dedicated to like his late wife or something too?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I read about that. Hey man, go out with a blast, dude. Make the craziest, wildest, just pothead movie you can, and have Adam Driver in it, just looking at the camera.
Yeah, I just think these kids don't know what to do with it. Most of these critics, I want to see a real critic review.
They don't,
because it's not a superhero movie, so they don't know how to react to it.
What's a real critic though these days? We all criticize movies as a YouTuber, a movie critic. Do you have to go to film school to be considered a real movie critic? Or do you have to have Rotten Tomatoes credentials? Does that make you an official movie critic? Do you have to have some kind of card carrying movie critic card? No, look, I'm a card carrying movie critic.
I'm a Rotten Tomato.
All these Twitter critics is what I'll call them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's a movie critic these days. Everybody has a YouTube channel. Everybody's got a Twitter. I didn't like this movie, therefore I am a critic.
Vader, you need an official criticless account.
Yeah, if you're not posting on Twitter,
I have one of those.
I have one of those as well.
Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola is somebody that the system has never liked because he's always somebody who worked outside of the system. He comes in and he makes The Godfather and didn't even want to, and then it ends up being the biggest movie of all time until Jaws.
I think, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think Donut Lord in the chat just made my case. Boom.
Yeah, there you go. That's the problem right there.
Good donkey.
He's a real movie critic.
He basically goaded George Lucas into making American Graffiti and Star Wars. I've told this before. I don't know if I told it on here, but the short version is after THX 1138 destroyed Zoetrope Studios basically and practically bankrupted them. Yeah. They had to pay back the money for THX 1138, plus they lost their 3-picture deal with Warner Brothers. So Francis is like freaking out on George. And he's like, why can't you just make a normal movie for normal people, like a comedy or a kids movie? So he did. He went and made a comedy and a kids movie. I mean, the conversation was a little more deeper than that, and it was much more boisterous, and his wife was involved, and she called him a dead fish. But that being said, he also stole Apocalypse Now from him. So if he wouldn't have done that, we might not have ever gotten Star Wars.
I do have a question about Megaopolis. Is Megaopolis? I don't even know how to say it. Is it eligible for Oscars? Did he meet the DEI quota for the cast that is required?
You got to remember, Hollywood is who voted on. They vote on this crap. They can try and blame everybody else all they want, but it's Hollywood that votes on this stuff. So this whole Oscars so white thing, they were basically campaigning towards themselves. Like, I'm like, who are they bitching at? Like, it's their fault. No black people are nominated, not ours.
It does have Lawrence Fishburne in it, right? So I think it's going to make the quota.
Well, hey guys,
and Giancarlo Esposito.
Guys, Chris Stuckman is not going to review Megaopolis because a lot of people worked really hard on this movie. And he doesn't want to offend
anybody.
Yeah, but he's a real movie critic.
The only job you have, Chris. I don't get it.
No, I don't think it's eligible. I see 2 black dudes in the cast. 3, no 2. That's it. Just 2. Does Shia LaBeouf count as a minority because for being weird?
No, but he's Jewish. He's Jewish.
Oh, well, there's another one. Okay,
He's somebody else who Hollywood has canceled too.
Is Dustin Hoffman any kind of a minority?
Well,
Another person Hollywood has been trying to cancel for a while.
I'm surprised Philip isn't insulted because there's literally no Asian representation.
There's no Asians.
Michelle Yao must have been busy.
I'm white adjacent, so I'm mixed in already.
Yeah, white people and Asians are kind of lumped together, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yellow and white's really close in color, so
yeah. All right, guys, we got a members chat for 3 months from Foxhound. Thank you for your subscriptions, Foxhound. Appreciate that. Trailer looked dreadful. That being said, I like the premise. It also got booed at Cannes. Consider me interested. Kylo Ren / B movie actor.
I thought
they got a standing ovation, 7 minute plus some booze is what they said. So that makes me wonder how many boos. What, the 3 people who didn't like the movie or what? Like, I don't get it.
Boo! Not enough gay people in this movie.
That's the problem right there.
Too white. It's too white.
Boo! Too white.
I can tell you, as someone who's been at Cannes and been to these screenings before, like if a movie gets booed, it's kind of a big deal because it's usually like people either don't react or they do a standing ovation, right? And I was there when they premiered Revenge of the Sith at the Cannes Film Festival.
Did it get both like this did?
No, it didn't. It got like a small standing ovation from the crowd, but most people were just sitting there and like leaving because they were like, that was a waste of my time.
Without video, I don't believe the booze. I'm going to say it.
Well,
these people have an agenda.
Keep in mind that when the new Indiana Jones movie came out and it premiered at Cannes, there was a lot of the same type of reporting coming out that it had received some booze and stuff like that. And so like, I'm a little bit more inclined to believe what's.
I don't remember that. I remember it got a standing ovation.
Standing ovation with some booze.
I don't remember that.
I think I'm kind of more interested now in attending Cannes one of these days, so I can just sit in the audience and boo things that are good. So they can say there was some booze coming from the audience, therefore it's a mixed bag. Boo! Your movie sucks. Boo.
Are you saying boo or boo earns?
It's like more boobs, more boobs, more boobs.
Well, it's funny because the theater for Cannes is adjacent to a nude beach, so there's plenty of boobs like walking around there. All right, guys. So we've talked enough about Megaopolis. Let's talk a little bit about Dune, in particular, the HBO Max series, or I should say, the Max series, Dune Prophesy, which basically they just had a new trailer drop, and we can't play it because of YouTube's copyright stuff. But link is in the description for everything that we're talking about here in the show today. But I watched this Dune Prophesy trailer, and basically, it's kind of funny. Before the show started, me, Vader, and Brian were kind of talking about this, and Vader and Brian were under the assumption that this was an adaptation of one of the books, especially like maybe Dune Messiah or one of the books that happened after the movie. But in reality, this is a completely original series about the creation of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood. So it happens thousands of years before the events of the Dune movie. It's being produced by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how big his involvement is in it, but it seems very centered on the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood and them setting the stage for the prophecy that kind of plays out in the Dune movies. And it looks very Game of Thronesy, set in the Dune universe. But when we had Comic Book Girl 19, Danica XIX on the show a while back, we kind of talked about this because she's a big Dune fan. She's been following this stuff, and this show has had a very tumultuous development process. It's gone through some name changes. It's gone through some rewrites and stuff like that, but it looks like we're finally going to be getting it very soon, just in time to kind of capitalize off of all the interest from Dune Part 2 and the upcoming Dune Part 3, which is going to be adapting, I believe, the second book in the series, Dune Messiah.
Dune Messiah, I don't know how, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to throw this to Brian because Brian, surprisingly, did not like any of the Dune movies. He had unkind things to say about that and Villeneuve. So Brian, let it rip. What do you think about the Dune movies and this upcoming TV show?
Dune is boring. It's boring. And someone once said that the worst crime you can commit in filmmaking is to make a boring movie. and it's boring. Sorry to say, Dune is boring. Dune 2 is a little better. Still a lot of boring stuff in it. And when I watched this trailer, I gotta tell you, it didn't look as boring at first. When it first started, I'm already tainted on the Dune experience. I'm like, here we go, more boring Dune shit. But as it went, it looked a little more exciting, and it's a miniseries. And I think that Dune needs to be a TV show, like to be properly done. I think it needs the time that a TV show has to work out characters and explain the universe. And I don't think I think it's hard for a movie to do that. So I think this TV show might actually be good. I'm a big fan of sci-fi, so I'm hoping that it's good. And I think that giving that format of a TV show, or a miniseries, it gives it more time to breathe, and you have more room to tell the story that is the mushroom-induced, story that is Dune. And I just can't stand the movies so much. And what makes it worse is everyone else likes them. And I'm like, I don't like them at all. They're boring. Boring.
Well,
maybe I need to be on mushrooms. Maybe I should take Francis's. Maybe I should, take his take and just grab some weed and just enjoy it. But I don't know.
Have girls sit on your lap and get them in the mood while you smoke weed.
Maybe I need to smoke some weed, put a girl on my lap, terrible. And just hang back and watch fucking Timothy Chalamet pout at the screen for 2 fucking hours.
You mean watch Zendaya scowl and have a bad
Zendaya?
What are your thoughts on?
They screwed it up, so I don't understand why people are liking it so much.
What are your thoughts on Denis Villeneuve, Brian?
I don't like him. He's like art house with a $1 billion art house guy. He's so boring, and his idea that you don't need dialogue to make a movie is insane. I'm sorry, you need dialogue. I need to be able to hear it. I need to be able to hear things. It just can't be a 5-minute shot of somebody looking off into space. Doesn't work for me. Sorry, bud. Doesn't. And maybe I'm just not high enough. Maybe that's the problem.
Do you feel like you were assaulted with love while you were watching those movies?
Oh man,
no.
I feel like I was forced to make it. I mean, we made a giant Dune documentary, and I had to watch it again and again, trying to find scenes, and it was like, oh my god,
you didn't sit there through the movie with a really weird French accent and talk about
movies.
I want to make this movie.
They don't need dialogue.
It's very good. Yeah.
I want the screen to speak for itself.
I want to trip balls while I'm watching.
To see the worm's hairs as it crawls along the grass.
I want to.
Well, Vader, you seem to have a lot to say. So, what's your take on the Dune movies and the Dune TV show?
I have nothing to say. The movies. Look, I like the new Denis Villeneuve movies. I liked it better when the first one was out and we didn't have the second one yet, because I really liked the first one. But when the second half of the movie came out, it just brought the whole thing down. So I guess I could rewatch the first half over and over because I really liked it. The second half with Zendaya's bad attitude and her stupid ditzy friend, where they sit there and talk shit under the tent for half the movie, is not my thing. It's just it wasn't good. So there's that about Denis Villeneuve, or however the hell you say his name. He needs to get together with Jodorowsky and just go make the ultimate ball tripping Dune movie. I think that would be pretty cool. But
that quote from Jodorowsky, I raped it
with love.
With love.
As far as this Dune Prophecy kind of stuff goes, I don't, honestly, man, I don't have any interest in this. I'm duned out. I watched so much fucking Dune stuff when we were covering. I need to just not even hear the word Dune or sandworm or Arrakis for like at least 2 years. I need a break. So
over it.
I got good stuff coming out to watch, like Furiosa in a couple weeks. So I'm all about that. That's what I'm getting myself back into.
Tom's going to fight you on that one.
That's okay.
But before we get to Tom, let's talk to Mr. Philip Chan. Phil, what did you think of the Dune movies? What's your take on Denis Villeneuve? And what do you think about the teaser trailer for this upcoming original series set in the Dune universe? Do you think it looks any good?
Okay, so you guys are probably going to hate me. I've never watched or indulged in any Dune-related medium
I
at
don't
all.
hate, I don't hate
Not
you,
even-
bro.
not even the
I
books.
wish I had not done either.
So so
I
the
envy
thing
you.
is that someone mentions like, oh, this Dune movie is gonna be coming out, and they watched it, and then I forgot where I read it. That someone said it's basically Luke wandering the desert for 2.5 hours, and the end of the movie he finds Obi-Wan. I'm like, that's a fucking boring ass movie. I'm not watching that. And everyone's like, no, you gotta watch it. It's so good. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about it. And then I heard Zendaya's in it. I'm like, hard pass. I do not like her.
Hard pass.
It's like resting bitch face the entire time, and I'm just like, I was like, and you're not even hot, so there's nothing for me to look at.
Nothing.
It's like no word. It's like a 15-year-old body. I'm like, I'm not watching this.
No.
But I hear a lot of people really like it, and people are like, if you really like it, just watch. If you want to get into Dune, read the books. I'm like, are there boobs in the books? And are there pictures for me? Are there pictures? And it's like, if there's no pictures, like forget it. You know, it's
Yeah.
Just like but watching the trailer, I do agree with Brian here. I think if it was a series on HBO or Max, I think it would have been a lot better. I think we could have like a very cool, based off of what they're doing with House of the Dragon, and even like even the
sci-fi
Last-
Game of Thrones or something like that.
Yeah, whether or not you like it or not for Last of Us, I think if they did that with Dune, I think it would have been interesting. But yeah, with Zendaya's attitude, yeah, for me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch any of this. But the trailer looks, I guess it's pretty intriguing, at least to me. But overall, it's a hard pass for me.
Yeah, the general consensus seems to be that Zendaya ruined part 2 for pretty much the vast majority of people who didn't like it. But Phil, props to you for pointing out the fact that Zendaya is not attractive. I know that she had this movie where they sold it on her having a threesome with 2 dudes, and it was just like, yeah, don't want to see that. Don't want to see that at all. But Tom, what's your take on the Dune movies, Denis Villeneuve, and this upcoming Dune Prophesy show on Max? Do you think it's going to be any good?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the first film for the most part. But the second film, I loved the first half, and then the second half went completely off the rails. And I could give a shit about this series. Like, there's nothing in this series that has anything of interest to me. Like, I know who the Bene Gesserit are. I know exactly what they're up to. I don't need to see them putting this shit into action. I want to see the result. And the problem we have now is that he's going to have to spend part of Dune Messiah telling the rest of Dune, because he didn't finish the story in the first place. There's so much stuff you have to get through to get to Dune Messiah, or he's going to completely rewrite Dune Messiah, and it's not even really going to be Dune Messiah. So I have no idea what he's up to. As far as the sisterhood thing, I could care less. I really could. There's 100 other stories I'd rather see than this. Like, Andre's right. The battle with the machines would have been a much better story. In fact, there's
The
already
Butlerian Jihad.
yeah, there's already novels written on that from his son and stuff like that, which are some of the better of the after novels, or whatever you want to call them, after Herbert's death. As far as Andre is concerned, I have not read beyond that, so I don't know. And I was so disappointed, because I thought the first film was so well done, and I was extremely hyped for the second film. And as the movie got going, and you've got stuff like Zendaya teaching him how to walk in the desert, when you literally just had him before that showing off how he knows their ways, and that's kind of part of his character, and why her father, who was completely excised from the story and turned into a black woman and killed and not even brought up again, that was the whole reason why they were like, oh wow, something special about this one, kind of thing. And that kind of set the whole thing in motion, with them believing that he was, Quetzat Haderach or whatever. But anyway, that being said, I could care less about this show. I really don't care about the sisterhood. The Bene Gesserits, we already know what they did. It's pretty well laid out, I think. So if you don't get it, then I'm sorry. And to me, this whole thing with people enjoying this and getting all on the hype train, I'm glad to see people finally have love for Dune. But I also know it's a lot of people who are liking something that's a compromised product compared to what it originally was. And I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. I still can't quite figure out what the point was to do the end of Dune 2 the way they did. So that really kind of soured me on the whole thing. I don't really care.
Yeah, the biggest criticism that Dune Part 2 has received has been from book fans because basically they did take a lot of liberties with the book. And like you said, they kind of ended it at a point where it's like, well, there's still story to be told there. And Dune Messiah, for those of you who don't know, the book takes place years after the end of Dune Part 1, the first book in the series.
Like almost 20.
Yeah. It's a long period of time. So it'll be interesting to see how Villeneuve decides to interpret that. But when it comes to Dune Prophecy, the TV show, I think one of the interesting aspects of it is I get the feeling it is going to be very much Game of Thronesy, because we're going to get to see the great galactic houses who are part of the Chom Corporation, which is kind of like the Amazon of the Dune universe that kind of controls all commerce and stuff like that. And we'll probably get to see like more stuff about like the emperor and like, you know, how he deals with like all the political machinations between the houses, and then all the sex stuff that the Bene Gesserit kind of like introduce into that with like their selective breeding program and stuff like that. But I do agree that I feel like the Butlerian Jihad was a far more kind of like fertile ground to tell a TV show, because like it's an epic galaxy spanning battle of humans versus like essentially like AI and Terminator like machines and people who
It
serve
would also
machines
help
and
explain
stuff
some
like
of the
that.
things they didn't explain in the movies, like with
Yeah,
the
like-
mentats and stuff.
Exactly, the human computers and things of that nature. And it'd also be interesting kind of see like more about the Navigators Guild and like how they use spice to kind of navigate. Yeah, but also like I'm like, hey, bring back David Lynch, let him do like a new movie. I'd love to see that.
David
Okay,
Lynch
guys,
is a maniac.
I love him. I love his maniac. All right, Foxhound for £4.99. Again, Dune Prophecy looked awful. Mark Strong, The Only Interesting Thing, Sisterhood, woo. 10,000 years before Paul Atreides. What? Yeah. Mark Strong plays, I believe, one of the House Atreides ancestors, and they also have House Harkonnen in there. So it's going to be interesting to see like the different houses and like the states that they're in and what they were like really early on in the Dune universe. But they are probably going to be leaning a lot on the Kevin J. Anderson and is it Paul Herbert? I forget his Frank Herbert's son's name, but they've written a whole series of books kind of like fleshing out the different houses and the different Dune universes. So I'm sure that they're going to be pulling from that. And guys, we are at 12 super chats. So, or I should say we're at 8 super chats. So we're only 12 away from hitting our goal for the live stream. So if you're thinking about throwing us a super chat, let's try to get to that 20 number and get out there. All right. So guys, we've talked about Dune, but now we have to talk about the star of the upcoming series, Jeff, the tree. Rings of Power season 2. I can't believe that they didn't feature Jeff in this trailer, because that would have
Jeff's dead.
that would have gotten a lot more upload.
Rest in power, Jeff.
Rest in power, Jeff. Yeah. But so guys, the Rings of Power season 2 trailer finally dropped. This is our first look at the sequel to the first season. And people are kind of calling it the wig of power, because as you can see here, Sauron is pretending to be an elf with a very bad wig, and nobody recognizes him because they're like, oh, he's got a wig on, so obviously he's an elf. But you know, season 1 ended with the big Sauron reveal, which surprised no one because we basically called it the minute that Guy Ladriel ran into him, and the creation of Mordor, which they used water to go down a trench to go into a volcano that created the evil Mordor thing. Yeah. And there was like a homeless guy who turned a sword that brought down an entire stone tower with ropes.
Do you remember? Do you remember when it showed like the name of the place, and then it like quickly like burned into Mordor? And it was supposed to be like this big epic reveal. Like we didn't know what the F was happening.
Yeah, basically all of season 1 was just a setup to the creation of Mordor and the reveal of who Sauron was. And they spent like 1 episode forging the Rings of Power, and the way that he tricked the smith into making those rings was like so like stupid. It was just like, hey, why don't you make rings for all these people? And he's like, you know what? That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. We should do that. Let's make some rings. Okay.
Come out to the coast. Let's get together, have a few laughs.
Yeah. All right.
But guys, this Rings of Power trailer has been getting ratioed to hell and back.
Is it?
And everyone has been like ragging on this thing because, as you all know, all the hardcore Lord of the Rings fans, like people who just like worship at the throne of J.R.R. Tolkien and stuff like that, they did not like season 1. And what they're seeing from this trailer for season 2 is even more like they're doubling down on everything nobody liked about season 1. So I want to get your guys' take on this stuff. So let's start with Philip. Phil, what's your take on Lord of the Rings season 2, the trailer?
So I think it looks even worse than what I've anticipated to be. Yeah, the wig is really awful. Whenever you freeze frame Galadriel's face, she always looks like she's taking a shit. So it's really, really bad. The first season, I had to like speed run it because it was just so slow, and I had to like watch it on ×2 speed in order for me to like actually be interested in any way. And yeah, someone mentioned it's like, oh yeah, have you thought of mixing 2 materials together? It's like, that's a thought. What?
Oh
Mixing
my
2
God.
materials to make a ring? No fucking way. You can do that? It's like, yeah, sure. And
You
like,
can
these
mix
elves have been-
metals?
these
What?
elves have been living for, like,
Weird.
millennia. So like, it's like you have never thought about that. So
They have swords though. They have to have alloys by now, right? They have swords.
everything is just so coincidentally done, and it makes me sad that it was like it's almost $1 billion for the entire thing to be done for first season. And like I remember I went on Facebook and I was like, this show is so awful. And then it's just like the worst character written. No one really cares about Galadriel. What happened to Celebrimbor? Where's her son? And a bunch of these other characters. And then this guy who's like, well, with all the vitriol, I thought the show was pretty good. I'm like, oh. So but yeah, I'm looking for I'm looking forward to everyone roasting this. I like hearing everyone's reviews on how hopefully everyone's going to be watching how terrible this thing is going to be. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to how bad each and every episode is going to be. I want more of give it to me and give it to me raw. I want more of that.
Give me the meat and give it to
me raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we are going to be going episode by episode on Salty Saturday Morning.
Wait,
just
Will,
like we did the
Will,
first season.
Will,
bro.
you
Just
need to
like we did the
discuss this.
first season.
We need to discuss this
bro,
first
I can't
because
do it.
Our
I-
fans expect it from
God
us.
damn it. Yeah.
Dude,
So-
are you okay? Oh my God.
But I want to throw this to Tom. Tom, what's your take on this? I know that that Phil just said that Amazon spent $1 billion, but it wasn't $1 billion on season 1. It was like $1 billion for like a planned 5 seasons or 4 seasons or whatever it is they're coming up with. But what's your take on what did you think of the trailer? And do you think that Amazon's dealing with a lot of brand damage from the first season?
I thought the trailer was laughable. I couldn't make it through the first 20 minutes of the first episode. I don't think many people will. Even the media is starting to wonder if anybody's going to show up for this one. I don't know what kind of deal they got themselves into, but yeah, they have to produce 50 hours of content or something like that out of this. For some reason, it's in the contract. So come hell or high water, this is going to happen. And all this was happening while Warner Brothers just kept dick smacking them left and right with announcements and dropping trailers, which I'm sure we'll get into in other stories here coming up. But as far as this goes, it's DOA. Like, I don't think anybody cares. And most people are aware now that it's not real Lord of the Rings anyway. And the few people who probably do like it, good for them.
Yeah.
More power to you, I guess. You're going to get 3 more seasons of it after this. So,
Hey,
I
man,
mean,
if you like it, then good for you.
yeah, it's kind of like the Star Trek Discovery crowd. It's like, trust me, they're going to give you more than you can choke on
All
because,
12 of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 5 episodes of that nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably have more to say when it comes to the Warner Brothers stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. So Brian, you know, famously there was this statistic that came out that said only 30% of the people who started season 1 of Rings of Power actually finished the entire season. which means that it had a 70% drop off of viewership, where people were just like, this is crappy. You had Don Limanor, the elf, so nice diverse forest elves out there. You had Jeff, the tree, who sacrificed his life for the good of the cause.
Rest in peace, Jeff.
Rest in power, Jeff. We had a lot of fun, kind of like going episode by episode during season 1. But at this point, it feels like, number one, it took 2 years for this to basically come to fruition. So there's been a long gap between season 1 and season 2. And as Tom mentioned, Warner Brothers basically came out and said, like, hey, we got Peter Jackson to come back and develop some spin-off movies off of, like, Lord of the Rings. And a lot of people are excited about that because Peter Jackson's kind of like the godfather of the Lord of the Rings, and he had nothing to do with this series. And so it's like you have the same IP competing against itself with Amazon versus like Warner Brothers. So like, what's your take on all this? Do you think season 2 is going to be any good, or do you think people are just not going to show up for it and Amazon's got a huge money sink on their hands?
No, I think it's going to be horrible. I think people are already dunking on it. I'm not sure if you've seen the comment section of the trailer on YouTube, but it's like thousands of comments about wigs and various wig related jokes. It's really funny. Like, the best thing about this
my
trailer,
favorite comment was, I can't believe they haven't turned the comments off yet.
Right? Yeah, that's like the top one. It's like the top up one. Like, I can't believe they haven't turned it off. Dude, the best thing about that trailer is just scrolling through the comments. The comments are hilarious, and it just gets better and better and better. Dude, the amount of dislikes on that video, it has like 400 and something thousand dislikes to like 75,000 likes. It's super ratioed. The best thing about this is going to be able to see the salt play out in the form of internet memes when this giant bloated garbage dump comes out, on Amazon Prime. It's going to be glorious to watch this thing just blazing in the background as nerds make fun of it, and I can't wait for that. But the show itself, I have no interest. The trailer looked ridiculous, looked stupid. Halbrand, or whatever his name is, like, he didn't look dumb in the first season, but in this season he literally looks like he's like mentally challenged for some reason. And I think it's the wig or the elf stuff. Maybe elf costumes don't agree for certain people. I don't know. It's like that thing with, like, if you ever saw like Star Trek Enterprise, Jolene Black looks outstanding in that show, but then like without her Vulcan costume, she's sort of like skinny and plain.
You mean Jolene Blaylock?
Or whatever her name is. Like, I think it's something like that. Maybe that actor looks okay in like medieval garb, but then you put him in an alpha costume and he looks retarded. And I don't know why.
Well, Matt Vader, in the trailer, we got to see Don Limanor do like a matrix spin through exploding trailer, hitting his elf arrow pose. We've got Guy Ladriel doing all types of fancy sword play. How are you not excited for this show?
I'm just not, dude. I mean, why would I be? This thing is just more terrible stuff that I think they've just kind of made up, right? I mean, I'm not a Lord of the Rings scholar, but this just doesn't look good. I don't even know what else to say or what to add to the conversation. Brian took the line I was going to say about the ratio. Right now, the ratio is at 84,000 thumbs up and 453,000 thumbs down. Oof. And like you said, there's a lot of comments about wigs. In fact, I just added mine just now. It said, this looks terrible, Lord of the Wigs. I know it's real catchy, really, really stupid, but I had to get my 2 cents in there. And yeah, it's very diverse. I've never, what tribe of elves does the Asian elves and the black elves and the white elves all come from? What part of the Lord of the Rings world is that at? I don't quite get it. I'm looking at this one scene. They're all like in a circle with their bows. And it's very, very diverse. It's very, very crazy, but whatever. This is just more nonsense like we had in the first season of fan fiction Lord of the Rings. And I'm really upset that we're going to watch it and review it week to week, because that 30% that was left at the end of the season 1, that was just people like us who needed stuff to talk about on YouTube.
It was YouTubers. Yeah,
it was YouTubers. It wasn't real people. There was no real people watching this show. It was us people watching it to make content. so we could talk about it in front of all the people in the chat. So I guess if we're going to do that again, we're going to do that again. My favorite part from this week when this dropped was when HBO went, okay, drop that House of the Dragon trailer right now. Like right after they did this, it's like, oh, here you go. Here's something good, something cool. So go watch that if you want to get this out of your brain, because House of the Dragon trailer actually is intriguing and looks pretty cool. So
and we're going to talk about that next. So in just one bit, but first I want to throw this back to Phil. Phil, how do you feel about there being no Asian elves? Are you insulted?
There are Asian elves.
I don't care if there were any. Now if there was actually like a full on, hot Korean elf, like that. Especially
Okay. All right.
I've been playing a lot of Stellar Blade, so I've been looking at a lot
The
of
best you would be Gaijin. Just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you want me to watch Rings of Power, put a hot Korean elf in there.
Yes, especially with Shin Jae-yoon's body with Eve on Stellar Blade, like put her in it.
Okay.
And we'll wash shit out of it. I don't care if it's bad. Like
even if it's bad.
Yeah,
you can forgive a lot, bro. You can forgive a lot when there's content like that.
How about
writing?
Japanese weather girl elf? Can we have one of those?
As long as they remain single, that's fine, because there's that one girl that got involved with that tennis player, and then everyone wanted to cancel her.
I was gonna say, in Mordor, all the humans are tennis players, and you want to keep them away from that.
They're all walking around with tennis rackets.
Yeah. And instead of broken swords, all the homeless guys just walk around with tennis rackets over there. The whole like diversity, equity, and inclusion thing that is going on with this show, I think, turned a lot of purists off. Like a lot of like J.R.R. Tolkien's fans, like they run the gamut in terms of like, race and gender and age and stuff like that. And they're like, why not just have a faithful adaptation of Tolkien's work? Because like he was very clear about, the elves are a very like homogenous race, and then there's all that talk about how orcs are just like substitutes for black people and stuff like that. And so with this one, they're like, oh, we gotta mix it up, and we gotta have like representation like left, right, and center. But like none of the characters are any good, and you have like those was it Harfoots that just like abandon people if they're too slow to die.
Did you notice that there's hardly any of them in this trailer?
Because they're horrible.
Yeah,
they're horrible.
Nobody liked them.
No, they didn't even like it. They didn't even like their own creation.
I don't know if they're in the trailer at all.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, but guys, the actress who plays Galadriel, you don't find her hot? You don't think she's attractive enough to tune in for?
Yeah, I gotta say, she's better looking in her elf costume than in real life. And even then, she's not very attractive.
Everybody's better
looks like
looking
a
as an elf.
mouse.
I believe her name is Morfred Clark, and she's like a Swedish actress or something like that they cast in this role.
No offense to her, that doesn't work for me personally. I'm sure someone finds her hot, and that's okay.
You have a type, Brian. It's okay.
Yeah, my type, actually, I don't. I am pretty general in my type. If someone is generally considered
Brian
attractive,
is a pansexual. He's queer,
I'm okay with it.
He's
I'm even effeminate looking Asian guys. It's like, as long as they're feminine to a degree, I'm good with it. When I first saw 10%,
10%,
yeah, 10%. When I first saw Project Eggroll on here, I'm like, okay, all right, maybe. No.
I'm disappointed. I thought we were getting lunch. See, that's where I was upset.
What, you mean there are no egg rolls on the podcast?
That's what I was like. Where are all the fucking egg rolls? That's all I keep hearing. Egg roll. Where's my
up? I want one of those hats.
Crispy treat.
One of those, but I want one of those hats.
Tom, did Brian tell you he was a chubby chaser? Is that what's going on?
No, somebody promised me egg rolls. That's all I know, and I ain't seen one yet.
Yeah, Tom shows up, eats cereal on stream. Yeah.
In a hot tub.
I did eat my cereal already. It's gone.
I got this picture of Tom in a hot tub eating cereal while doing some MSR.
I wish I had a hot tub, man. I wish.
You'd be drowning in the shekels right now, brother, if that was your thing.
All All right, guys, we got a super chat from Foxhound for 199 pounds. I'm only watching it if the Balrog kills everyone. Yeah, if everyone
good
were
way
wiped
out
out
of
on
this.
this show,
I would watch that.
Yeah, I would totally watch that.
Just
That
the
would explain why
Balrog.
nothing matches up,
Yeah, exactly.
and where all the black hobbits went.
And then Spider-Man opens a portal to another multiverse, and it's the Lord of the Rings multiverse. It's great. All right,
mean,
so this is a super chat directed at Brian. So this is from You Fuck That Beesh for 199. New Stargate series will have nude ?
No, definitely not. Sorry
Why
to
not?
say. Like, I do know a lot about the revival for that, and if it happens, it'll be PG-13.
That's okay.
Oh,
That's okay.
no
I don't
boobs.
need no boobs in my Stargate. Be
No
nice.
Stargate
But
boobs.
Look. There's two ways to make a good TV show. Okay, either you have really good writing, a compelling cast, chemistry, etc., or boobs.
or boobs. That's right.
And if you can somehow do both, fucking win.
Yeah,
It's a win.
I wish the Lord of the Rings showrunners were hiring you to
I'm just
basically
saying.
consult with them, Brian.
Yeah, bro. There's a reason why people love Game of Thrones, whether you read the books or not. A lot of people love the TV show Game of Thrones, and people would even argue, like, I'm not gonna say Lord of the Rings is Game of Thrones is better than Lord of the Rings. However, there are people that get a little more entertainment value out of when Game of Thrones was happening, because it's like an adult version of Game of Thrones. Like, it has blood.
A adult version of Lord of the Rings.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Has blood and dragons and boobs, and people are like, yeah, I'm here for it. And what was also compelling, and the characters were interesting, and there was a lot, for the most part, up until like the last season. And I think that the winning formula: compelling characters, good story, chemistry. But if you can't have those things, if you can't have any of those things, if you're just like, it's not going to be good, the story's not going to be good, the characters are going to suck, you're not going to like anyone, just put boobs in it, and it'll probably be good enough.
What if you had flying sharks?
Flying sharks and boobs win.
Yeah,
Pretty much combine anything with boobs, and you're probably gonna.
that's the
win.
formula. That's the
Yeah.
formula Hollywood should be following.
Yeah.
All right, and
Why do you think Sweeney? Why do you think
speaking-
Sweeney? What's her name? Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney. Speaking of Game of Thrones, as a big fuck you to Amazon, basically Warner Brothers / Max / HBO / whatever you want to call them, decided, hey, since the Rings of Power trailer season 2 dropped, why don't we drop our trailer for House of the Dragon season 2?
Yeah.
The actual good fantasy show that's going to be coming down the pipeline. And it's kind of funny because, like, when season 1 of Rings of Power came out, that's also when HBO Max dropped House of the Dragon season 1. And before that, both were untested, like audiences hadn't seen them before. And Game of Thrones was pretty much on its deathbed because of the disaster season 8. But House of the Dragon reinvigorated that franchise, whereas Rings of Power seemed to poo-poo all the excitement from the Lord of the Rings fans who were starving for new content. And the clear winner in season 1 was House of the Dragon. So now House of the Dragon 2 looks to be doubling down on this stuff, whereas Rings of Power just seems to be giving people more of what they hated. But the new trailer for House of Dragon season 2 dropped. There's a lot of dragons in it. There's a lot of kind of like, political intrigue and big battle scenes and all the stuff that Game of Thrones fans have expected to love. And guys, I got to tell you, I enjoyed the House of the Dragon trailer far more than the Rings of Power trailer. There was a lot less stupid in the House of the Dragon trailer, a lot more characters that are cool and interesting. We got to see like the new king at King's Landing kind of like being a little shit. And then we got to see like a lot of dragons flying around. We got to see a lot of battle scenes. I'm like, this is hitting all the stuff I want from a Game of Thrones season. And I assume that they're probably going to be premiering at around the same time because Max just likes to fuck with Amazon and all the money they're spending over there. So I want to throw this to Tom. Tom, what was your take on the season 2 House of the Dragon trailer and how Warner Brothers is basically fucking with Amazon when it comes to this stuff?
All right, confession time. I've never actually seen one Game of Thrones anything. So I have no sense or care for this trailer, but I thought it was hilarious that they dropped that after the Lord of the Rings announcement that we mentioned.
Yep. So like in addition to dropping House of the Dragon, they also said like, oh, we're going to be making new movies based off of Lord of the Rings that everyone's going to love. Brian, what's your take on this? Do you think that Warner Brothers is specifically fucking with Amazon with like all these announcements and the different trailer drops and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. First off, like their answer, they've done it twice now. First with the hunt for Golem or whatever, you know, and now the House of the Dragon season 2. And I gotta say, House of the Dragon season 1 was great. It was great. I loved that series. You know, did I like it as much as Game of Thrones? Probably not, but I had a really good time. It was less stupid, and I think Matt Smith is awesome. He's really, really fun to watch on screen. You know, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, he just works. And I've been looking forward to season 2. And you know how many TV shows do you look forward to nowadays? There's not very many. It's like, well, maybe another Reacher series, you know. But House of the Dragon season 2, I've been looking forward to for a long time. So I was giddy when I saw the trailer pop up. I'm like, yes, because there's not a whole lot of good TV out there. How many of us are on Peacock or whatever looking at TV shows from like 15 years ago?
And we know how often you're on the cock, Brian.
Yeah. I enjoy Peacock. Okay, you have a problem with that? Huh?
We know you enjoy the cock.
It's almost Pride Month. Okay, no, but for real. Dude, you go on these streaming services, and most of us are watching shows from like 10, 15, 20 years ago. There's not a whole lot of good TV out there right now. So to be excited about an upcoming season of something, it's nowadays it's a rare feeling, you know. Most of the time I'm apprehensive, like, I don't know, maybe Matt's gonna make me watch that show for Saturday mornings, you know.
We're never gonna make you watch Reacher. That guy went off the rails. So, you know. I
still like the show, regardless of whatever he said. You know.
Yeah, season 2 of Reacher was pretty good.
Pretty good, man. I think I enjoyed. I think by the time it ended, I think I enjoyed it more than season 1. It didn't start as good as season. Like season 1 was good the entire way, but season 2 ramped up to a really good finish.
Season 1 stuck too close to the book, which was a really terribly written book.
I agree.
I didn't like. But season 2 was pretty good. So Vader,
yeah,
you know when season 2 of House of the Dragon was premiering, we would get on a Monday morning live stream the day after it came out, and we would have Charles and his fantastic sweater join us to break down, the previous episode from the previous night. Are you looking forward to House of the Dragon season 2, and do you think we should do coverage of that like that again?
Well, I am looking forward to House of the Dragon season 2. It's one of the few things that's been on TV or streaming here in the recent years that I've actually enjoyed and been intrigued by through the entire thing. It's good television, man. It's good drama. It's good sci-fi. It's good fantasy. It's got everything I want in these things, and it's got dragons and cool characters and whatever, all kinds of stuff. It's right in that wheelhouse of things that I like, and they do it well. So yes, I am looking forward to this. I don't know about getting up on Monday mornings and doing this again like we did before. I think we should just probably talk about it on here. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll probably discuss it later. I'm actually kind of fascinated. I'm looking at the trailer right now on my other screen here at the thumbs up, thumb down ratio compared to the Lord of the Rings thing. I'm looking at 143,000 thumbs ups and only 2,500 thumbs down. So that's very telling right now about what's going on in the dueling fantasy shows. This thing is going to destroy the Lord of the Rings just like it did before. It's not even a question about it. We're reviewing Lord of the Rings for a laugh. We'll be talking about this show because it's actually good. So it'll be another interesting season of dueling dragons and elves and dwarves and whatever they have on here. So yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
All right. Now, Phil, as an Asian man, are you excited about a show about dragons?
As long as we get to eat them, I think that's fine. Like
mukbang.
Yeah,
mukbang the dragon. Yeah,
slow. Just like the eggs that are like not fertile, and then it's like, all right, we're just gonna eat the eggs.
You can hear everything. Like you hear it's like a lot of Foley going on.
Yeah.
I never realized
basically-
how racist Kadish was till now.
He
But
is.
anyway.
He's very racist. He's the worst.
Hey, white adjacent. It's not racism. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, it's basically like eating a giant balut. But if you don't want to know what
Oh,
balut is,
mm.
yeah.
No.
But
There's fire coming out the other back.
just blowing it out your backside. But I am really excited for season 2. I think season 1. I was extremely hesitant with season 1, and then I had a friend who was like, completely different writers, different directors, and like, season 7, season 8 sort of ruined everything. But I really enjoyed it. It's the thing is that we didn't get any more Theon and Greyjoy floppy wiener, so that was great for season 1 of House of the Dragon. And however, we didn't get enough boobs.
That's right.
We
know,
did get
you're right.
dragons.
There
It's a good
wasn't enough boobs
compensation.
in season 1. I gotta be honest, there wasn't. There wasn't
There's
enough boobs.
too much painful childbirth in season.
And a
1,
lot of
in my
weird
opinion.
Yes.
foot fetish stuff where he's like, oh, the foot.
Oh yeah, the foot fetish. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, we
weird.
gotta cater to
the,
everyone.
the club
right?
foot. Yeah.
But season 2, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. I believe it's next month or like it's really soon. So I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I think both of these series drop in June, if I'm not mistaken. But Tom, I know that you had a few more things about Lord of the Rings you wanted to share with us before we move on to our next topic. So take it away.
Yeah, to me, the bigger thing besides this was just like icing on the cake. To me, the bigger thing was, oh, by the way, we've got this Lord of the Rings deal we're working on with Peter Jackson, and we're going to kick it off with a Gollum movie. And a lot of people are like, why? Because it's only like based on like a paragraph or a couple sentences out of the book. And I said, that's exactly why. So you guys got to turn around and look at what Peter's doing here. He is doing what Amazon is doing, and he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to show you what you can do with this. And I'm going to do it better because I'm, as you pointed out, the godfather of Lord of the Rings now. And in that press release, the amount of jabs that were in there, like, was hilarious. And it was not, and they weren't even being like me. It's just like the little things like the Keepers of Tolkien's lore and Professor Tolkien. Like they were very, complimentary of Tolkien and, all about trying to keep, the fans happy with this stuff. So I think they're going to have fun, even if at its worst, right? Like it's still going to be 10 times better than anything Amazon could pump out. And to me, that's just the opening salvo, right? That was just something they could chuck out there quick and go, look what we can do. And the next thing is going to be, we don't know. It could be Peter Jackson announcing he's going to do something from the Silmarillion or something like that. We have no idea yet. That might be the big kicker to Amazon's nuts, because that's the thing. They're basically coming out and saying, we got the real Lord of the Rings. This other thing is fake. I mean, for anybody who's going to, if there's any confusion at this point, it's not going to be confusing after that, I bet. I think most people are going to understand, okay, this other thing, this is the real Lord of the Rings. This is Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. This other thing is not. And a lot of this, I think, is Peter Jackson because he got ghosted by Amazon. You guys remember that?
Right.
Like they were in talks with him, and then he's like, yeah, they just quit talking to me.
They just quit talking to him. Yeah, just said they did the same thing with the creator of Stargate, too. Like, oh, we were going back and forth with scripts, and they just ghosted us, like, for no reason.
So, yeah, I think this whole week was just one big F you to Amazon. And I thought the Peter Jackson thing was hilarious, and the Game of Thrones thing even funnier, because the more they fail, the funnier it's going to be. I just wish I could, find a way to cash in on it like you guys have.
Well,
I want to throw this out to everyone out there watching this on replay. What do you think about the upcoming Lord of the Rings versus House of the Dragon? Let us know in a comment. Leave a comment about that. We will go through, read it, maybe talk about it on next Saturday's show. But just let us know which one you're looking forward to more and why. And we would love to hear about that. Also, just want to give everyone an update. We now have 10 super chats that have been donated throughout the course of live stream. So we're halfway to our goal. We've already hit our membership goal. Thanks to Major Chai Chai and WG. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. So if we can hit just 10 more super chats, doesn't matter how much they are, until the end, we get to the end of the stream, we'll have hit our goal. And if we hit our goal, Matt Vader will show his feet on stream.
no, I will not. Quit volunteering.
Yeah, all right.
I only do that when Jude's on the stream with us, dude. Come on.
Well, if you remember, our House of the Dragon live stream was where you first started doing that.
I remember.
You gave people a juicy little preview. of those tootsies of yours.
Why do you put me in weird situations? I'm not happy with you.
Tootsie roll.
It's my job, man. It's part of being a producer.
Weird little sausage toes.
Speaking about weirdness,
Bullshit
guys,
nose.
let's talk a little bit about Friday the 13th and how they're making a Jason cinematic universe spanning video games, TV shows, and novels and comic books and movies. So we had this nifty little article that came out, and basically Brian Fuller, the guy who created Star Trek Discovery, but he also did the show running for the excellent TV show Hannibal. He was developing a TV show called Crystal Lake, which was going to be a prequel to the Friday the 13th movies. And he was doing it in conjunction with the original screenwriter and creator of Friday the 13th. I believe his name is
Victor Miller.
Victor Miller, yeah. So Victor Miller recently got the rights back to Jason and Friday the 13th and stuff like that. And so it seems like him and Brian Fuller were having some creative disagreements over, the upcoming Crystal Lake show. And Brian Fuller, in true Brian Fuller form, basically said, "Fuck this, I'm out," and left. And now basically Miller is like, "Okay, now we're going to take Jason and we're going to build out an entire cinematic universe based around him." And
did they say that?
Well, this is based off the success of the Friday the 13th, the game, even though that game got shut down because of rights.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just saying I didn't see any mention of a movie anywhere in that announcement. That's all I was saying.
It is implied. So the thing here, though, is does anybody really want a Jason universe? It's like, I am a big Friday the 13th fan. I love Jason as a character, but I don't know if I'd be willing to basically, tune in for like all this other stuff, because there's only Jason. After he's done killing teenagers, like, what more is there for him to do? So I want to throw this to Philip. Philip, do you think that anyone's going to be interested in a Jason universe?
If it was Chinese, maybe, but it's not.
Chinese.
Jason could take Tokyo.
Yeah, if he's like, "Oh, my name is Jason. I come to kill people." You swimming? Oh, you swimming? I
Or
stab you
Hong
with machete. Yeah, big mama boy. Oh, the reason why I have mommy issue is because I got bad grade in school. So my mommy don't like me. So he put, so I scared the water.
Yeah, Jason's mom is like, "Why can't you kill more teenager?"
It's like, "Oh,
very disappointed. Your brother killed 10 teenagers this morning."
He grows up to be a serial killer because he has a dragon mom.
You got B in killing. Oh, you should get an A plus in killing. You fail.
Yeah, he has a hell of a body count. He just failed at driver's ed. That's all.
But overall, I don't know who asked for this, but hey, it could be one of those things. It's so dumb. It's awesome. It's
Right, like Fast and the Furious. This is really dumb, and I love it.
I could see Jason take Hong Kong. That would be fun.
Didn't they?
Pretty cool.
Haven't they tried this with Chucky? And the Chucky series is just terrible, right?
Oh, because they had a bunch of DEI in that, though.
Oh,
Like,
wouldn't they do that
what if
here?
Chucky ended up being gay or something? He's like, making out with-
guys, let Philip finish, please.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but like going back to the Chucky thing, like they did a series on it, and I think it's like Don Mancini or something like that. Or Don Mancini, I forgot what's the director's last name, but he basically made something. There's some people who really liked it, people who didn't, and there was this like Chucky cinematic universe, and there was like a Avengers like kind of thing. There's like multiple different Chuckies that came together, and it's basically this is buff Chucky. And then there's like a very a femboy sissy Chucky, and I'm not sure what they're gonna do with this one. There could be like a Jason cinematic universe where it's like there's Jason X, there's different Jasons. There's the one that Jason in New York or something like that. And then there's
Remember Jason X though? Jason in Space or whatever it was. Yeah. That was great. That was a fun movie to watch.
I love that one. So like it could be good. I'm not sure though, but that's my take on it.
All right. Well, Brian, you seem to have a lot to say about Jason Universe. What's your take on this?
You remember that scene where the guy dies and it's like on a spiral thing and he's like slowly like spits?
Before you get going, I remember the scene where like there's the VR thing where Jason's at Camp Crystal Lake and they're like, "Hey, do you want to have premarital sex and smoke some weed?"
Well, yeah, want to have premarital sex and smoke some weed, and then and then cuts to him just beating the crap out of him. He has him in a sleeping bag and he's just slamming the tree over and over again. Dude, it wasn't a good movie, but it was a fun movie to watch. Damn it! And I've seen it like 3 times now. Look, Jason universe could be fun. There's 2 ways to do it. You do it serious, and it's an actual like horror universe written around Jason characters or Jason adjacent characters. I mean, like Jason's one guy. You only do so much with one character. So you could do it that way, or you can make it just super camp and have like blockbuster explosions, fun nonsense every year. And you could do it that way. But you can't do both. Like you can't try to make a horror movie and include a bunch of like MCU jokes in it. No, it's either got to be hyper camp, right, and lean into it like Fast and Furious has, where like Vin Diesel's basically just a fucking superhero, or you got to go real like serious horror and like make a horror franchise out of this and all the adjacent stuff. Now, what's going to happen though is you're going to get to characters that can't be done seriously because you've already camped them up too much, or maybe you can, I'm not sure. But you got to go either way. It's either got to be fun, really serious horror, or it's got to be camp. But if you try to mix those 2 things and do this like MCU blockbuster thing, it's going to fail miserably.
All right. So, Tom, according to this article, and by the way, everyone, links to all the articles we talk about in the show and trailers in the description of this video. It says that the new Friday the 13th activations will span entertainment, games, immersive experiences, merchandise, and more, with announcements to be made across the year. Do you think that Friday the 13th, I know it's a recognizable brand, so many people have grown up multi-generations like watching Friday the 13th movies. Do you think that this is going to be a winning formula for these producers of, they call themselves Horror Incorporated?
Well, first of all, we got to get used to not calling it Friday the 13th, because it's not anymore. It's Jason. And that's part of the reason I think they're doing this is it's Jason universe. That being said, because the separation is Sean S. Cunningham owns Friday the 13th, and we are getting a Friday the 13th movie at some point, either this year or next year, but it's going to have absolutely nothing to do with Jason, the Voorhees, anything of that. It's actually going to be more like urban legends. But that being said, this has just made me go, what the fuck? Because Brian Fuller's series that was announced, like a year ago now, seemed like it was full steam ahead, and it had been getting a lot of buzz in the industry. In fact, we all kind of know somebody who's seen the scripts, and they said it was amazing, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say about this, because he said there's going to be a lot to say about this. So I think this decision was made, and Brian's like, F this shit, I'm out, because they wanted to change what he was going to do. And for those who want kind of an idea of what he was going to do, it was going to basically be along the lines of Hannibal and Bates Motel, but it wasn't going to negate the films. Instead of remaking it, it was going to be telling its stories around the existing movies. So, and this is just my speculation now, I'm guessing like the first season would be like young Pamela Voorhees having Jason and all that kind of stuff. And then probably end with him either being drowned, or that would happen at some point in one of the seasons. And then we'd see all the stuff that picks up in between the movies, right? Like seeing the death of Mrs. Voorhees from Jason's point of view. Then there's 2 years in between there before he goes and kills again. So like that we know of. And then there's all kinds of stuff that happens in between the first movie and the first killing. So there's all kinds of stuff I think Brian was going to play with in this. And from what I'd heard, it was along the lines of Bates Motel and almost as good as Hannibal, basically. So it was sounding like it was going to be really good. And it sounds like to me, they just decided they really wanted to amp up this Jason thing. And I don't know if there's movies involved with this or not, but I think they're going to try to just push Jason as an IP now. And rightfully so. He's popular. They've wasted him for almost 20 years now. It's about time. I've said this for a while. Like, I don't understand why Paramount hasn't made a dozen more Friday the 13th movies. These things just make money. They don't cost anything to make.
Because they're stupid.
Yeah, because they're stupid. And see, they had the rights split with Warner Brothers for the longest time, because Warner bought the rights to Jason back in 1992 or 4. And they didn't buy the rights to anything else. They just bought Jason so they could finally eventually get Freddy versus Jason made. And then during it was like 2000, when did Interstellar come out? like around that time, Nolan went over to Paramount to make Interstellar, and Warner Brothers got pissy. So like, well, we want to be a part of this because Nolan's one of our boys. So like, let's cut a deal. So in that deal, there was a deal for the second film of South Park made, and the rights for Jason reverted back to Paramount for 5 years, and they did absolutely nothing. Because they have all the rights over there. They could have called it Friday the 13th, whatever. They didn't have to pay Warner Brothers anything, because that remake was a co-production between the two. And then they had 5 years they could have done. And their excuse is it's not going to make any money because the Ring reboot failed. It's like, the Ring reboot probably cost you $30 million. Friday the 13th shouldn't cost you jack shit. It should cost you a couple sandwiches and some fake blood. Because really all you need is some half-naked teenagers in the forest with a guy with a hockey mask chasing them around. That's all you need.
That doesn't require a whole lot. That's all we need.
And now if they're going to do something fun with this, like, yes, I would love to see Jason takes Hong Kong. I would love to see Jason takes actual Manhattan instead of Canada. I would love to actually see Jason go to Florida, take on Florida Man. Let's have some fun with this. I don't care. And I disagree with you, Brian. You can have both fun and horror at the same time. Chucky went off the rails, but before that, it was fine. The second season is where the DEI just started just coming in big time.
Chucky was making out with some dude. Like,
well, what this was, okay, so that picture, just for some context real quick, that is not actually Chucky, I found out. That is actually one of the characters who's in a Child's Play, or one of the Good Guy dolls. So it's actually that character's boyfriend inside the doll. It's not actually Chucky making out with another character. That being said, that shit has gone completely off the rails because Don Mancini has just decided he's going to woke it up to the wokest extreme. But now this, I think, is something that could still be, there's still potential in this. There's still things you can do with this. Unlike Freddy, Jason doesn't have, like, you know, Robert Englund to contend with or worry about. Anybody can play Jason, right? I mean, that's the beauty of how Halloween worked. I can't believe they didn't do another one when Halloween hit big, because that was where I was like, okay, we're going to get all the originals back, and we didn't. I was like, what the hell? Because Jason was a no-brainer. It's easy to just do, you know, and the game was very, very popular. I can't believe they shut that down the way they did. Hopefully they pick it back up and fix it and finish off the characters they were supposed to add to it.
There was a rights issue with the video game.
That's what they claim, and I heard that was absolute bullshit. They used it as an excuse so they could move on to a different game, is what I was told. Because there's absolutely, because that was what this whole thing was for years, was who owns Jason, who owns Jason, who owns Jason. And the court decided that it's the same character that's in the first movie, regardless of what form it takes. So that's where the whole argument was about, because before that, there was no real argument over, because Friday the 13th was came up by Sean S. Cunningham. The rest of it was came up by Victor Miller. But their argument was the Jason that's in, you know, part 2, 3, and beyond is different than the Jason that's in the first movie. He's just a little kid that's dead already. This is a completely different iteration of the character. And the courts decided, nope, it's derivative. It's the same damn character. So Victor owns all of it.
All right. Well, Matt Vader 74, are you excited about Jason?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't do horror. I've never been into Jason movies. This is not my thing. However, I did just figure out that there is a prime marketing opportunity for a new Jason movie, because according to IMDb, there have previously been made 12 movies in the Friday the 13th universe. So why don't they make Friday the 13th and, you know, just go all in and go crazy with the Jason character? I might kind of go watch that one. That might be a fun marketing tie-in. The 13th movie, Friday the 13th, you know. So honestly, this looks like I kind of want to say a money grab or something like that. I don't understand why this character is still, why they think this character is still relevant, because outside of us talking about it right now, I don't ever think about Jason, and when I think about pop culture or horror or anything like that, it's just not something that's in my my wheelhouse, I guess. I don't care about this. I'm not going to go watch it. I'm not going to watch a television show. I thought for the Friday the 13th movies were cool when I was 10, you know, but you know, even you try to go back and watch them now, I'm just not impressed. You know, sorry guys, it's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. I'm not into teenager slasher movies, I guess. So not for me.
Not for you. That's okay.
Not for me.
Not horror isn't for everybody.
Nope.
But I am certainly down for a brand new Jason movie because I love seeing a big guy in hockey mask cutting through people. All right, real quick, we got a super chat for 199 from Syfax. Hail, great guest. Great to see you all in Vegas. Yes, it was good to meet everyone out here for the Nerdrotic meetup. But there's one more thing I want to get to today before we start wrapping things up. And that is, I want to start talking about all the sequels that have been announced recently. This is absolutely crazy how many sequels / spinoffs we're getting. So it was announced that Netflix, since they're still in the Adam Sandler business, has now approved or greenlit a Happy Gilmore 2. So we're going to be getting a sequel to the classic golf comedy Happy Gilmore. We're also getting a sequel from Amazon for the latest Roadhouse, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. That has been greenlit as well. We're getting a John Wick spinoff, another one for Donnie Yen's character Caine, the blind hitman. So that's going to be another kind of spinoff in addition to Ballerina. And from the Spider-Verse front, we have it confirmed that Amazon has hired Nicolas Cage to reprise his role as Spider-Man Noir in a live-action Spider-Man Noir TV series. So all this stuff is basically coming down the pipeline. And I wanted to get the panel's take on this. We're not going to go person by person, just want everyone to kind of chime in. What do you think about all these sequels that were just announced?
Yay.
Super enthusiastic.
I am so ecstatic about all these sequels.
Yay. Sequels. All right.
Do any of them excite you guys at all?
Not really. No.
Yeah, not really.
The Donnie Yen one.
Maybe Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, maybe. That might be funny, and it's on Netflix, so you don't have to get super invested in that one.
Yeah, I guess.
So who's he going to beat up this time? Drew Carey?
Roadhouse 2 actively makes me angry.
Yeah,
it doesn't make me angry.
For real.
A lot of people hated that movie. I actually enjoyed how stupid it was, but it did not need a sequel. Not need a sequel.
It's the Wick one that kind of makes me raise an eyebrow because Wick 4 sucked. It was just not a good movie. It was and making a movie on the blind character. I mean, what's he gonna do? Just go around, and stare into space and put his hand up?
I mean, it was a cool character.
Pretend he has superpowers the whole time. I mean, I guess that's what he'll do. Fine, whatever.
Well, he's Asian, so his eyes are already small, so he's already basically almost blind.
Oh my god, bro!
Yeah, bro. I'm glad you're here because I can't say that kind of stuff. It's really good.
Well, we're gonna see him go to Home Depot, get all those doorbell things.
Yeah,
put them around the walls so he can hear people coming.
Yeah. That was actually that he didn't really need that because he has superpowers. He didn't require those things. We figured that out at some point.
The force is with him. He's one with the force.
Well, right. if you guys noticed in the scene where he was doing the card game, he could see what his cards were apparently, even though he's blind. So that was kind of weird. But who isn't excited about Nicolas Cage playing Spider-Man in his first TV show role?
I'm not.
I'm okay with that. Like I think his character is campy enough, especially in the movie, the Spider-Verse movie. But I don't know, he's pretty darn old. But if it's going to be set in 1930, 1940s or something like that, I think it can be fine. And you can because he actually uses a Tommy gun, so hopefully we see it. But it's not, if it's campy and it has a lot of Nick Cage-esque stuff, I think it could be okay.
Nick fucking Cage.
There it is.
Is that from the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Tom?
Yes.
That's a great movie. I love that movie.
I am Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, Nicolas Cage has always wanted to play superheroes, especially Superman. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's an interesting character and an interesting concept. But who here is excited about Happy Gilmore 2?
Yeah, that'll be fun. I mean, Adam Sandler, he makes fun movies, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I mean, like, if it never actually was ever made, I wouldn't care either. But since he is making it, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Go make Little Nicky 2 next. That'll be fun. You know,
Oh God,
I mean,
no.
whatever.
So unfortunately, guess what he is? I heard.
He's just making sequels to all of his older
That's
movies.
what I heard.
Yes. Spending Netflix's money. Might as well.
Because my understanding is he actually owns a bunch of these. He doesn't own Billy Madison, but he owns anything that had the Happy Madison that was produced by them or whatever. So yeah, I heard he's also doing a Little Nicky sequel after this. So I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, great. That'd be great. That'd be fun.
Well, I'm actually surprised about Roadhouse because apparently Amazon released that the remake of Roadhouse got 80 million views on Amazon Prime. Wow. And so they were like, okay, we have a hit here. And all that stuff was until people saw how shitty the remake was compared, because people love the original, right?
Zack Snyder would tell you that would have resulted in like $80 billion worth of ticket sales.
Yeah, exactly. Zack Snyder math. But what's interesting in the article where they announced the sequel to Roadhouse, they're saying that Amazon's looking to turn it into a franchise. And so it's about the character of Jack Dalton going to all these different bars across the United States and getting into adventures and then moving on, kind of like
I've seen that. It's called Bar Rescue.
Yeah. But it's kind of interesting because they're unsure if Doug Liman's going to come back as the director, because he famously poo-pooed on Amazon for not doing a theatrical release for this movie, which I actually think was kind of a smart move because it sucked, you know. But what do you guys think of the Roadhouse sequel?
Only if he gets one of the Paul brothers to come in and be the big bad.
Bro, Mike Tyson is gonna literally eat that guy on live television.
Let's be real. The only reason this movie exists is because they probably have some deal with the UFC and they probably kick in most of the money anyway.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is, because this movie is a joke. Who watched this besides Brian and actually liked it? And I don't believe Brian actually.
Brian has terrible taste in movies.
No. What
he just likes it because Gyllenhaal's showing his chest.
Did I like it because it was a good movie? No. Parts of it were comical.
Well,
there was cool fighting. And
Brian
honestly,
got to see Conor McGregor's ass.
When Conor McGregor showed up and acted literally.
I don't think Conor McGregor knew he was in a movie.
Dude, he literally acted retarded every single time he was on
I think he just came in, did some shit, and they filmed it. And they're like,
dude, the guy is such a bad actor that it was funny to me. He's trying.
Okay, on the level of like The Room, I can understand you liking this movie.
Bro, he was like,
right?
Oh, what are you doing here? At one point, he looked at the camera. He's like, what are you doing here?
But come on, you got to admit though, this movie makes the original movie look like a fucking masterpiece, right? Like I always liked the first movie as one of those cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason it works because it's Patrick Swayze doing a modern Western, because otherwise it's completely batshit crazy. I mean, especially when you got the scene where he rips the dude's throat out and he's all and shit like that. You know, men just love that shit. I mean, that movie, you know, that show that TBS used to show, Men Who Love Movies or whatever. Like, I think that existed because of that movie. Like, they would just show Roadhouse almost endlessly every week on TBS because of that. But like this movie, I watched it, and in the third act, I'm like going, by the time I'm like, why am I even still watching this? This is horrible. It looks like it was shot on a potato, and it looks like there's a bunch of green screen for no reason. And they change a bunch of stuff in the story for no reason. There's absolutely no, character that they just totally disregard. What's his face's character? I just forgot his name. Sam Elliott. You know, and then the end of the movie completely takes a left turn to Nowheresville. It's like, why do we all of a sudden have the plot for every 80s movie, including Happy Gilmore in this movie now, where somebody's going to take the bar? Like, that wasn't the problem in the first movie. Like, the problem in the first movie was this guy was just an asshole, and that was kind of loosely based on an actual event. There was this guy who was such a jerk in this town that the entire town killed him, and nobody went to prison for it because nobody was pointing a finger.
Exactly. Guys, you know, speaking of bad movies, did you guys know that Madam Web is the #1 viewed movie on Netflix? You know,
oh shit, is somebody gonna get to misunderstand the meme?
Yeah, we need a sequel to Madam Web now, obviously.
Clearly.
Well, it's funny because this news comes off of the announcement that Sony scrapped the Spider Silk series that they were planning on doing. But Sony, does not have their finger on the pulse of the audience, and they probably don't understand that people are tuning into this movie to see how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
because there's
heard
so many
about
memes about it. Go ahead.
something about this just this morning. The reason that this fell apart over at Amazon, I guess, was that Amazon said there's too much Silk Spider in the Silk Spider series. I am not kidding. That is the excuse that they're saying is what happened. So they like met an impact because they're actually still going to try and shop this series around, just not at it's just dead at Amazon, is my understanding.
Yeah,
so,
but I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon's like, oh, Madam Web's #1 at Netflix. Let's do another Madam Web movie and get it out there because audiences obviously want this. Like they totally misread the what was it? Morpheus? No, not Morpheus.
or did I say Madam Web? I meant Silk Spectre. They got too much Silk.
Yeah, you said Silk.
I did. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I said it.
But the Morbius show, like they were like, oh, people are loving this movie. Let's re-release it in theaters. And they were like, no, people weren't liking the show weren't liking the movie because it was good. It's because it was ridiculous.
Amazon needs
It was
to
the
stop
new
with the
room.
Asian hate. Yeah, it's like we finally have a what was it? I believe she's Korean, like Silk, and it's like we finally have one, and then it's like, oh man, there's too much Asian in this Silk movie. I got the remove. Okay, sure.
Nobody wants a superhero that's good at math. So
wow.
Putting a sexy Asian in anything nerdy is like putting MSG in anything that's like Chinese food. I mean,
edible,
duh. Like, of course, the guys are gonna flock to it.
Yeah, it's a recipe for success, and Hollywood
exactly.
And like even if you put like a hot Asian guy in it, Brian will show up. I'll watch.
That's true.
Sure, as long as they're at least slightly effeminate, I'm good with it.
Steve Malou was perfect.
Brian needs to watch Warrior.
Shang-Chi.
Oh, I've been watching Warrior. It's actually pretty good.
It's really good. Yeah.
Warrior is a great show. Guys, Fluffy Panda for $2. When do we get a sequel to Brian Rides the Rainbow?
Fluffy Panda, welcome back, man.
Yes. Brian, when do we get a sequel to you riding the
I
rainbow?
don't even know what that means, bro.
I think it's in reference to our a Real Men of America calendar.
Oh, Real Men of America.
I love those commercials. I have a whole CD set of the Real Men of Genius.
Yeah, I do too. I have a playlist, dude. Next year we need to do another calendar. I think we should actually sell that calendar. Like have those movies made. I can produce that calendar, bro.
Yeah, we should do it.
I
want a picture of Phil on it eating some ramen.
Yeah.
We've also got Eric Winberg for
doing mukbang with a dragon.
We got Eric Winberg for one gifted Salty Nerd podcast membership. Thank you so much, Eric. Really appreciate that. And Fluffy Panda for $5. How dare you besmirch John Wick 4, the greatest video game adaptation to a game that was never made.
Right.
And love seeing the man behind Shoot 'em Up on Midnight's Edge.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have him back again.
Cool.
You guys should see if you can get Michael on here. He's great.
We've got Kalichi Oki for $2. He just gives us nothing, but we appreciate the $2, Kalichi.
Since we're at the end of the show and you guys are talking about Real Men of Genius and stuff, can you share this super quick? I don't know if you guys remember this. Andre made me take them down, but they're still available for members.
Midnight's Edge presents Real Boneheads of Cinema. Real Boneheads of Cinema. Today we salute you, Miss Kathleen Kennedy. A real Temple of Doom. Who could make so many movies, yet up the greatest franchise of all time? How the hell did you make me like the prequels? You made movies with Steven Spielberg. Dude made Jaws of Jurassic Park. You think some talent would have rubbed off on you?
Oh, yes, some residual talent.
The only real talent you ever had was getting Spielberg coffee.
I'll take my own 2 sugars.
Hiring Harvey Weinstein's former assistant was a nice move, wasn't it?
She likes all the Star Wars.
So pack up your shit and get your Baby Yoda hating forces female ass out of here because we've had enough.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, you real bonehead of cinema.
That's great.
Yeah, Andre thought those were too mean. So yeah.
Too mean, really?
Yeah, we had a bunch of them. Yeah,
From you? That's tame.
I know, right? That's
hyper
tame.
tame.
That is very tame stuff from Tom Connors. All right, guys. So we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. Want to give a big thanks to everyone who gave us super chats and gifted memberships. But before we get going, I want to go around the panel and get some final thoughts. Tom Connors Jr., any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
You can find me on Midnight's Edge After Dark. I do have a new channel called The Lost Classics where I'm playing all kinds of classic songs that I'm uncovering from the past. It was dark and I didn't know it was my cousin. Classic, Yeah. Why Does It Hurt When I Pee has been a very popular one. So check them out, and thanks for having me as always. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you being here. And
I sacrificed a mushroom festival for you, just so you know.
Oh, that sounds super exciting.
Your
morale mushrooms once a year.
Great. Mr. Philip Chan from Project Eggroll. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
All right, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. You can find me at Mr. Philip Chan #2, which is my own personal gaming channel, which I just started because my previous one got demonetized for playing the Alex Jones game. But things, you can also follow me on and me and Gray on Project Eggroll, and we're actually going to be going on later tonight with Alan Ng. Dad's going to be on the show, so it's going to be a great time. So follow us on Project Eggroll.
I like how you call Alan Dad. That's funny.
he's every Asian's dad. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Brian from the Popcast, the original Smoke Show himself. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
You can find me.
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah, man. The Popcast. At the Popcast at Pop Culture.
You need to change it to the podcast now.
Yeah, the podcast. We have another. We just put our Ghostbusters doc out. I'm not sure if Tom saw it. Tom
I haven't
said
yet.
You can watch it, dude. Tom, go watch my Ghostbusters doc, bro.
I will try to do so. Yes.
Yeah, it's almost an hour and a half long. It's pretty long, but it shows the entire history of Ghostbusters from the first movie all the way to now, and everything in between.
I'll have notes, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will. And it took us a long time to make, and we're pretty proud of it. So I hope that you guys can watch it. It's not getting a whole lot of views yet because, if it's not Stargate or Star Trek, no one cares. But I hope you guys can watch it. And then we do have a Star Trek history of coming out next week. So, and our live show every Thursday at 4.
Good stuff. So Shane's back on the live show.
Yeah, it looks like he's back for now. I'm sure it's tentative because he never actually every week I'm like, so we're good with the show this week? He goes, yeah. I'm always waiting for him to be like, nah, not this week.
Right on. Speaking of this week, Matt Vader 74, what do we got going on the Salty Nerd podcast? And do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts are thank you guys for hanging out today, Phil. It was awesome getting to meet you and know you a little bit. Love your sense of humor, man.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Go follow his channel over there, everybody. Tom, Brian, thanks again for hanging out. Brian, I'm glad you're back. So take the smoking thing down a little bit and be a little, and girls are good too. Okay. Just want you to know this.
Yeah,
They're very fun.
All right.
This week on Salty Nerd, I think we're going to be doing some Tomb Raider talk, right? I think we're talking about Tomb Raider this week, and that'll be kind of fun. So we got some, new stuff coming out with Tomb Raider, and we're going to talk about the 2018 movie, the one with Walton Goggins in it, and the random chick that played Laura Croft. I don't remember her name, but that'll be fun. Looking forward to rewatching that this weekend. What do I have going on? I'm spending a lot of time over on our new gaming channel, Salty Nerd Gaming. That channel is blowing up. It's almost completely devoted to Helldivers 2, and we are having a blast. It is a ton of fun. we're doing multiple live streams, gaming streams a week, doing they're late night, 3 or 4 of those a week. Plus we got our Salt Divers podcast that comes out on Tuesdays. And Alex has also been doing some weekly 2 or 3 week updates a week too, which are a lot of fun. So we're going crazy over there on our gaming channel. So if you're into Helldivers too, like we are, go check it out. So that's what I got, Matt.
All right. I want to encourage everyone to stick around for the Mephisto movie review, which we're going to be redirecting you guys to as soon as the live stream ends. But before we get going, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who super chatted. We almost hit our goal of 20. Not quite. We came up a little bit short, but we appreciate everyone who basically donated to the show. The Dork Knight, sober for 75 days. Congratulations, Danny. Really rooting for you there. That's a big achievement. Mexican Iron Man, Kalichi Oki, Mephisto's Movie Reviews, Eric K, E. Clay Tomlinson, Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, Foxhound, You Fucked That Beesh, Syfax, and Fluffy Panda. Thank you all so much for your support of the show. We really, really appreciate it. And everyone, if you liked this episode, be sure to tune in next week, same salty time, same salty channel, for more Salty Saturdays. And until then, stay salty, my friends.
Hey, folks, thanks so much for watching this live stream. If you want to watch our previous live stream, make sure to click right here. Or if you would like to check out one of our favorite highlights, click right here.